Good morning everybody, Jason here. It's 27th of June, just check, 9 o'clock in the morning. July? Crikey, I lost a month then. And we're walking towards our walking tour, which is due to start at 10 o'clock, so we've given ourselves plenty of time to walk up all these hills to get there. It's another of those misty days. Hopefully it will burn off this afternoon and be in the early 20s. We've peaked a bit early, so we're going to have a coffee and some food, and I just want to show you the pastries and the sandwiches in this place. Just absolutely fantastic. Look at this one, croissant de meringue, all kinds of things. On this side they have all kinds of sandwiches. This one is as bigger than my hand. Look how big that is for a sandwich. Bola ponderosa. Crikey. Maisie has ordered one of these huge sandwiches. Just lift it up, Maisie. It's really hard to get the scale of it. It's huge. She thinks she's going to eat it all, and Kirsty and I have got this one and this one we're sharing. We made it through breakfast. Maisie didn't quite finish that. And me and Kirsty finished ours, so that's Maisie's remainder. See how big it is even after she's eaten half of it. So we're just waiting for our walking tour to start in Porto. So this is Porto train station, which used to be a monastery, and then it was a convent, and then the city took it over and turned it into this. So this is the inside of the entranceway to the train station, which used to be the monastery and then the convent. And you can see all these tiles all over the place depicting different scenes from Portuguese history and symbolising different things. On this side here we have, I don't know if you can see it, we have 4 women representing the 4 seasons. And the reason they have that in this train station is because the word for seasons and the word for train station sounds the same apparently. I'm not going to try and pronounce it. This panel here at this end, this one's very faded compared to the others. That's because they've put a film on it to protect, because they're constructing a new metro just outside of here, and so this film is just protecting it. This panel here represents the marriage of this guy to this woman. This was a king of Portugal, and this woman here was a Lancastrian noblewoman, so an English noble. So this was kind of representing the start of the diplomatic relations many years ago between Portugal and England, and it has some connection to port wine, which I couldn't quite work out what she was saying about that. Very impressive, tiled, all these tiles individually hand painted and then assembled. Apparently some of them have been put back in the wrong place. So she's asked us to try and find out which one's been put in the wrong place. I recognise these 2 beauties. I think I found 2 of the tiles that are in the wrong place. I don't know if we can see it here, but this one, oh crikey, this one and this one. 3 more that are wrong here. And this is the Cathedral of Porto, or the Sede de Porto. It dates back from the 12th century, but there's been bits added on through successive generations, as in many places in Portugal. So this monument just outside the cathedral was actually put there by Salazar in the 50s. That isn't a traditional one, but these traditionally mark the centre of a Portuguese city, and these hooks at the top are where they used to hang people during the Inquisition. This one obviously is much more modern, and it was never used for that purpose. This is another viewpoint. Showing the river opposite where we are. staying. So that area across the river there is not Porto, it's Gaia, and that district where all these buildings are here is where all the port is. The port doesn't actually come from Porto, it comes from this town instead. So if you can see, that's Graham's, and then there's Cockburn's and some of the local producers. This is the shrine of Santa Anna, and here you can see right at the top of these buildings is that there's some rings. I don't know if you can actually see them on this picture, but these rings were used to haul furniture up because you couldn't carry it up the stairs. You hoist it up using those rings and ropes and then through the window. The guide was telling us that a lot of the buildings in Porto and presumably other parts of Portugal as well are very narrow and tall because of property taxes. So the idea being that you have a small piece of land and then you build a long thin building straight up like this one here, like a lot of the buildings in Porto. So we've just finished the tour, and this is the Square of the Lions, because there is a fountain with lions on it next to behind me. And an interesting piece of trivia she told me is that J.K. Rowling was actually teaching English at the University of Porto, of which this is one of the buildings. Just over here, I might go over there a little bit later, there's a bookshop which supposedly inspired some of the shops in the Harry Potter novels. Also this is the fountain of the lions, and apparently this is thought to have inspired the Gryffindor logo from the books. And also the robes that the university students wear here in Porto are very similar to the robes that are worn by the students in Hogwarts. So she denies that the bookshop has inspired her, but she does admit that the robes and some of the other things from Porto inspired her. So that's kind of cool. And she wrote some of the books, if not all the first book, in one of the famous cafes here. This is the bookstore. You have to have a ticket, a time slot to go in. It's that popular. There's people queuing all around. This is the bookstore that J.K. Rowling is denying being inspired by. But it's just next to the University Square that she probably was at. Another little random J.K. Rowling tidbit is that the founder of House Slytherin is named after the dictator of Portugal, who was overthrown a little bit before the 70s, Salazar, because the founder of House Slytherin is Salazar Slytherin. Sample the aroma of coffee through that machine, and they've got different kinds of tea.
Some up for your pub. Foda-se, vai dar um puxar os queijos, ó. Achas que ele mandou uma merda?
Kirsty and I have got some beef carpaccio, some cheese from 3 different animals, and vino verde. Yeah! Maisie's already eaten her pasta that we saw being made earlier. Round 2 is oysters from the Algarve and some sashimi and a little bit more. We've left the market now and we're going to find the tower to get the climb the 200 odd steps to have a really good view of Porto. And we got some, if you can see it, we've got some cherries to be going on with birds, live birds on a, I don't know what to say, just sort of sitting there. They obviously know where their bread is buttered, I guess.
Aber vielleicht spielen da Kinder noch.